Keyboard Warriors NHL Hot Take segment brought to you by our incredible friends at Barrel Theory Beer Company. Little bit different month here with February, just being that we got Four Nations. There won't be as many Wild games, but get out there for the Four Nations games if you're looking for a tap room to cozy up in. I was actually just out there this weekend because I was in St. Paul for a wedding on Saturday, and they've got Shooter McGavin in to-go packaging. You have to get out there and give it a try yourself if you haven't already. It's one of my favorite IPAs. But if you do happen to make it out to one of the few Wild home games coming up, or if you want to plan ahead for March when they're pretty much home all month, make sure you're getting the Crowler of the Day, Section 105, or hitting up the Raindrops on Tap offering, Sections 112, 217, and Club Level 36. All right, we got two Minnesota Wild-focused ones and one that's a little bit more blanket NHL. Joe, first one coming from our friends Russo and Anthony LaPanta. War seats in the house. LaPanta suggesting primarily come postseason if it comes to it, but I thought this one was actually funny. The Minnesota Wild should stay in hotels for home games.
That'd be fun, and it's not unprecedented. I know the Lightning in 2004 stayed in hotels for home games. It worked out really well for them. So, and again, I don't know if that's going to solve any of their home issues, and everything's like from wearing the different colored jerseys. To,
Russo said wear the whites.
or the whites, or morning skates here or there. But yeah, I think some juju should be fixed at some point, but yeah, that it's worked before. Who wants to fit that bill? That's fine, but it'd be a cool story.
Yeah, and it gets into the deeper rooted issue of just like, what do we have to do to make this team successful at home like they are on the road? Like it's crazy. Like I understand when teams are like dominant at home and struggle on the road, but it's kind of perplexing when it's the opposite. Like, is there something to being at home and like having distractions of family and whatnot? Like, I just don't know what else you can even point at unless they hate the green jerseys.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, and again, and yeah, it's they have the better matchups, they have all this stuff. So in previous years, up before maybe last year, even for historically, they've been really good at home. I mean, even when they had a mediocre team, they're really good at home. So it seems like an outlier to me. But I think the tension's on it pretty heavily focused. So I like to think that that's why that March stretch of home games will be so important for them, because, you know, you get into a deep hole there and all of a sudden you're going to have to fight for a playoff spot. So regardless of what they do, it's going to have to figure out a way to work, because this schedule dictates that. You can't go in a rough stretch in March and think you're going to make the playoffs.
For sure. Okay, well, this second one here, again, Wild focused. I'm going to start more like lukewarm take, but it'll evolve into a hot take for you. Pretty hot one. Turns out that there are 9 players in NHL history who have their jersey retired by multiple teams. So my warm take here is that Marc-Andre Fleury will be the 10th to do so. Let's start there. Like, do you feel like that is likely or something you would expect? Or is that even a stretch from what you know?
If multiple teams be retired?
Yeah. So have his jersey in the rafters in multiple ranks.
Well, Pittsburgh for sure. I don't know if he played long enough anywhere else for that to be.
Does Minnesota mean enough to him that he would want to have his number up in the rafters here? And I mean, would we ask? I feel like the sentiment around the organization and like what he's meant, especially like being a part of this final run for him, like I would think the Wild would be like interested, but maybe I'm off base.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's like, somebody put on Twitter like he should be number 20, should be retired around the whole entire league, which is only reserved for
come on now
a few people. But
everyone loves Marc-Andre Fleury. That's hotter than I'm gonna get. So
yeah, like I think having a role in the organization for a little after this, yes. I don't know if they're going to retire his jersey. Like,
sure.
Again, you know, and this is not new league expansion team that's looking for, I don't know. He's a guy who's unique and who can make some arguments for that, but he's been with the team, 3-4 years, and he hasn't been the number one in either one of those years too. He's had a huge impact off the ice, a huge impact, obviously he's played well and been a key part of that team, but it's just, I think a role with the team or versus retired.
I think that's inevitable. That it'll be offered at least, not necessarily that he'll take it. But we are the only team that hasn't discarded him. We got that going for us. But no, I think your arguments are fair. But I'm going to really dial it up, and I'm going to make this very hot. Based on your experience Thursday night, how crazy would it be for a team to retire a player's jersey that never played for them? Like Marc-Andre Fleury's jersey being in the rafters in Montreal.
Would they put a Pittsburgh jersey in the rafters? Like they can't put a Montreal Canadiens jersey in the rafters.
It just could be a Team Canada jersey.
Yeah, that's if the Wild aren't, the Canadiens certainly aren't. They gave him his own jersey retirement on Thursday night.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, nope, that's fair. That's fair. All right, final one that I have here, and this is definitely more obscure, but the genesis of it. I don't know if you saw the video of Mikko Rantanen in Carolina signing autographs for fans. Is that something that
I didn't see that?
Okay.
No.
So a little kid goes up to him as he's signing his jersey and says, "I'll give you all the money in my piggy bank if you stay."
Wow.
And Rantanen chuckled. He's like, "That's the plan." And it just made me think though, because I don't even know what the rules and regulations would be like. What would stop Minnesota Wild fans from creating some kind of crowdfunding, like GoFundMe, whatever, to give extra money or enticement for any player to stay? Like, doesn't have to be Kaprizov or Rossi, but is that something that you could ever see happening in the future? Is there something that the league has in place that firmly stops that from even being possible?
Like a GoFundMe to sign?
It's just money that fans are all contributing, and it goes to Kaprizov. It's got nothing to do with the NHL or salary cap or anything.
Well, versus a corporation, right? And doing something, a sponsorship deal. I've heard of sponsorship deals being part of negotiations. Where all right,
so he can be sponsored by the people.
Well,
yeah, I know.
under the table cash, but no, I mean, I've heard of teams saying, "Oh, you come here, you be more marketable, you might get these endorsement deals that aren't part of the contract." Toronto, they would do that and everything, but
yeah, Toronto leans heavy into that.
But yeah, I think it's funny to think about GoFundMe. Keep Krill, Minnesota, GoFundMe.
Yeah, you got all these people hey, I need a kidney transplant. Hey, I need to pay for hospital bills. Hey, we just want this really good player to stay here. Kind of ridiculous, but tell me that there aren't fans crazy enough to start one.
There are certainly fans passionate enough to do that for sure.
Yeah, passionate's a more fair way to put it, but yeah, just interesting. As soon as a kid offers to give all the money in his piggy bank if he stays, that's awesome. I love that
moment though, for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, there it is. A couple of interesting hot takes here. Again, thank you to our great friends at Barrel Theory Beer Company for bringing this segment every week.